short video on the Mrs. card here. That engine's gone now. She fired. It wasn't pretty. The bottom end of that thing shagged, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. I'll probably sell it, because I don't think we're allowed to have a noisy little beast like that at the track we're allowed to go to. They've got a 85 decibel noise limit, and I can tell you now, this thing's a whole lot louder than that. So I might just fix, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll fix her up, might not, I don't know. And I've got the other engine ready. It's been degoverned and all that sort of thing. I'm just in the process of taking this seat off. We've got a brand new one, oh, the black one off the other cart that's going on there. It was pretty new, looks new anyway. That's the axle we're using. The two-stroke one hasn't got the keys in the right spot. Two-stroke one has a key on the outside here. We need this one here on the inside, and the other one there for our brakes. This has got a really big brake disc on it as well, and a wild brake setup, so we'll definitely be able to stop good. I've got to modify this section of the chassis. You'll see here, that's where our sprocket from the engine goes, and that ain't going to work if I leave it the way it is. So I've got some of those bends I bought a while ago. One will fit right in here nice. We'll just shoot it straight back over to here, and that way will give us a bit of clearance for our sprocket. I like to redo the seat mount, but that's no real biggie because I was able to do it on the other one, no worries. We'll end up looking something like that. I'll make up another little chain guard similar to the one I've got there as well. There we go. Got some new black plastics and that there for it. Nose cone pods and that Nassau or whatever the hell they call that thing there. I'll get rid of all this stuff on here. We'll go over this chassis and give her a good clean up and paint where necessary. Guys, we're modifying this chassis. You can see the shape I've cut in the end of this. I was able to save the bit that I cut out of here. See the shape of that bit there? Pretty easy to do with a grinder. There fits beautifully on there, so I'll zap that in, give her a good clean up, and that should give us the room that we need to put our sprocket in, and I can start mounting the motor. I'll do the axle, then the motor, and that way I can tell where my clutch and all that sort of thing is. Remember seeing the other one there, I had to move the seat mounts and all that sort of thing, so I left that one on that side. We might have to give that a bit of persuasion. Alright boys, it's getting a bit dark here now, I hope you can see properly, but we've modified that chassis. She's come up pretty good. The elbow I use, they're like 34mm outside, this tube's about 31, so bit of an ugly join, but I got it to happen and just gave that a bit of a grind, so it sort of looks like it should do. But from a metre or so, or 2 metres away, it looks bloody great, so there you go. I had to grind out the inside of these bearing holders, carriers. So my cassettes, I think they're called, the piece that goes all the way around the bearing, bolts in, so they fit properly, so all that's done. So I'll get the axle in next, and we'll be able to get our motor mounted then. Right guys, we're fitting up this motor. Hopefully that's not too bright. I've just made up a motor mount and just tacked it together. I'm just putting this air filter on the carb here to make sure that I've got clearance from the wheel. motor mount the same as the other one. Bit of RHS, pretty simple. Put an adjuster on the front there, we're in business. Whack this air filter on and see how we go. We'll just put the air filter and oil back on, and we've got clearance. That's about where that wheel's going to be sitting, so we're on a winner. We'll whack the jet in, make sure all that's done, and that's all over and done with. I can put that other little air filter on. I've got one for this. I'll put the exhaust on, and I'm just going to drill some holes. I just marked a bit of a centre line between the holes there. I'll measure in the same distance on the underside, and I'll put a rib in there because this is only 3mm plate, or eighth of an inch thick for our American friends. And we'll put a little rib under there, drill some holes. That one's mounted. I've had to go over that far because the keyway on this is a bit different to the other axle. So that's why that is the way it is. So it should be sitting about there. We're hitting half of that key anyway, so a bit hard to see there. It's a bit bright, isn't it? But we're on a winner. I'll get a bit more done there tomorrow. Should have a motor mounted by the end of tomorrow, and all the chain and all back on there, and I'll mount the seat as well. Now we just got to get the seat in position. We're laughing. Alright, got everything installed on the motor there. I'll zap up that motor mount, make it right. Right guys, we've got our motor mount made up. Put a bit of black paint on it. It's the best spot for it to be, so it all lines up with the keyway there. Took that other mount off for the seat. So I'm just going to bolt the motor back up and get the seat in a position where we can get it the missus comfortable, and it'll be going before you know it. Right, we've got our motor mounted, sitting where she should be. We've got our seat temporarily mounted there. I've used the old mounts, cleaned them up, tacked them in position, made up some new ones for the front there. Starting to look like she should do now. Just got a little bit of clearance there for our clutch. And here's the other mount that I chopped off. I'll remove this part here and clean all this one up, and we'll get it to go in the original mounting hole there. I'll probably end up coming down to this bar here and then put that other smaller gusset on there somewhere. We've got our seat mounted. I was able to use the original mounts, trim them up, scallop the pipe and tack them in. Pretty good view of it there. Using the original mounting holes, so I didn't have to drill any more holes. Always a good thing. Missing all of our chain and all that sort of thing there, so that's good. Might have to just give that corner of that mount just a little bit of a trim, just so when we do adjust it, it'll won't be in the way. No real biggie. I was speaking to one of our subscribers over the last night and talking about oil sensors and all. This one hasn't even got one, which is a bonus. But I'll be disconnecting the oil sensor on the other motor as well. take this back apart, get this motor and that out of the way just so we don't blow shit up. And we'll do a bit of welding, bit of painting. Seats mounted. Here's a quick look at the chassis. Got the new seat mounts in. All cleaned up and painted, ready to go. Got the mount all painted up. Just got to go down and get some bolts for her. I've already got the bolts for the seats and all, but I'll go and get some for the mount there. We'll have the motor and all that on. Set those brakes back up. Just about there. Workshop supervisor. Hey girl. What are you doing? Hey? Snorting around. It's Jess. She loves it. Just going to do the throttle cable for the wife's cart. Nice and long. We can adjust that and do whatever we want with it. Just found a bolt to fit in this part here. We give it a bit of a clean up. It's going to cut a bit of RHS, a bit hard to see, a bit glary. We've just got a shape drawn on the end of that bit of steel there. Drill a hole in it. And we'll set it up. It's coming through here. We'll have the cable coming through and that clamping it down. There's a fair bit of spring in the throttle, so we should be right for that. Set up a spring going underneath and to the, you can just see it in there. Here's one of the original governor springs. Set that up going around the bolt that I tapped out and put in the top of the motor from where the governor arm came out. We've got our throttle cable hooked up. Simple little setup there. Just that cable back down through the side of the engine there. Cable tied in a few spots. You can't do it too tight, otherwise it'll mash the cable. Put in a new adjuster and that there as well. Quite a simple setup. Got all the steering boss and all that fixed up. Some spaces in the steering there. Tightened everything up. She's pretty much ready to go. Put a bit of brake fluid in, bleed the brakes, and she's all go. It's come up looking pretty good. Yeah, big ventilated disc on this one. I think that's because it was a two-stroke, but shouldn't have any trouble stopping with that thing. Giant caliper and that on it. Good setup. But, we'll fire this thing up tomorrow and see what she's like.